Hello, everyone, and welcome to class. My name is Dr. Jason Brummett, and I'm going to be leading your Applied Research Project classes 1 through 3. I'm excited. This is my third year leading these courses, and always excited to see the final projects, both the posters that are created and the papers that are created are excellent. Everybody does a great job. But of course, it is a process, and we're starting things off here in Applied Research Project 1. This first week is very low-key. We're going to be just reviewing the course syllabus, laying out what we're going to be doing for the term, and then at the end of this short screencast, I'll highlight a few things that you can find in this week's module, including your first discussion post. All right, so for this class, it's delivered all online, but I'm available to meet anytime, whether it's in person or online. Now, I should put a little qualifier there. Anytime may not always be possible. I'm the director of the physical therapy program here at George Fox, and I also teach a couple classes. But we can find the time to either meet via Zoom or to meet in person and to discuss and answer questions you have regarding any topics related to ARP I, as well as throughout the year, your general research project. So here are some of the kind of overview things of the course. In this course, to really kind of narrow it down to what we're trying to do, we're trying to explore the literature around a topic of interest of yours and to create something that's potentially publishable. You're going to be creating a systematic review or a scoping review, and there'll be much more time to talk about those at a later time. But you're really going to dive in deep on a topic. Now, there are no textbooks for this course. There may be journal articles that are assigned throughout the semester, and those will be posted on Canvas for you to access. Here's the grading coursework breakdown for A, B, and a C score. You're going to have 3 homework assignments. Those are worth 10 points each. There's 6 forums, and then there is major assignment 1 and major assignment 2. Now, maybe there's a better name I could give those. When you hear major assignment, that might sound a little scary, but again, we'll talk about these in the near future. Each of these 2 assignments, these major assignments, are things that are going to help build towards your final paper in ARP3. So we're doing components of that at this time. And some of you may already have a topic picked out. You may have done some work on this already, and so you've got a head start, so to speak. So what are we doing in this course? Well, the big thing is we're trying to end the term with knowing what you want to do for your dissertation and to begin writing towards that. And if you want to take the time to read through the different course objectives, feel free to do so. Here's some of that boilerplate language that you've seen in other course syllabi regarding professionalism and academic honesty, plagiarism, and then the use of AI. So with AI, we want to be careful here and not rely upon it or try to use it in ways that help enhance what you're doing, but don't use it as a shortcut. What am I saying here? Last year, utilizing Google's Gemini, I asked it to write a few paragraphs on a particular diagnosis and to provide peer-reviewed research citations from PubMed. So it does that, and I look at the citation list after I read through the paragraphs it created, And I was very interested in a couple of the articles. And so I looked up the first article that seemed very interesting. I had not heard of it before, and it didn't exist. And so I asked Gemini, you made up a reference. Why did you do that? And so it responded that it hallucinated, and sometimes that's the nature of things where it makes up something. And so I repeated the same command. I asked it to create for me some paragraphs around that general diagnosis. And I put in there specifically, do not make up any references. Do not do that. So it gives me the output. And I look through the reference list again and I start exploring it. And it made up references again. And so the point here is that these tools can potentially be useful for us, but we should not be using them to write for us. I'm going to, in the coming weeks, show some examples using Gemini and possibly Perplexity. Ultimately, though, these platforms do not have access to all literature. And so, because those things are behind paywalls, they cannot give us a complete overview of everything on a particular topic. More boilerplate language, looking at program and university policies. These are things that probably you've seen in some of the other courses that you've been involved with. Now let's take a look at the week-by-week layout here. Each week I send out a welcome to the week email. This week we've got the course syllabus screencast, and you are going to be telling a little bit about yourself. That's due by Sunday, January 19th. I'd recommend hopping on that ASAP and just cracking that out. Now, each week throughout the term, we're going to have different topics that we're looking at. And so you can get an idea about when the major assignments are due. And our last week of the term is April 27th through May 3rd. And then that is the week that your major assignment number 2 is due. All right, so that's pretty much it for this first week here. Again, I'm really interested in learning a little bit more about you, where you're at for your clinicals now, and what your topic of interest is. And please feel free to interact with your classmates online and have conversations there. All right. Have a great rest of your day and a great week.